In this video, we will look at how we divide polynomials using long division. In this specific example, we are dividing a trinomial by a binomial. We are going to be using the acronym DMSB to help remember our steps. Now, you also might be wondering why there is a picture of a cheeseburger here. Well, that's going to help you remember your steps. So you think DMSB, does McDonald's sell burgers? If you can remember DMSB, then you can remember the steps divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. So you'll notice as we work through the steps of this problem, we're going to constantly be cycling through those 4 steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Or just remember, does McDonald's sell burgers? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So our first step tells me that I'm going to set up the long division problem. And the dividend must be in standard form. So remember, the dividend is the first polynomial in your division problem. So in this case, my dividend is the trinomial x squared plus 9x plus 20. And it is in standard form because my exponents are going in descending order. So I'm already set up to start my long division. I don't have to rewrite the trinomial in standard form. All right, so now I'm coming to my first D of DMSB. I'm supposed to divide x squared by x. So when you remember learning about your properties of exponents, if I had x squared over x, that would just equal x. Another way to think about this is, what do I multiply x by in order to get to x squared, or in order to arrive at x squared? Well, I would need to multiply x by another x in order to get x squared. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm taking that quotient, so x squared divided by x, and now I'm on the next step. I'm writing that answer over the other x term in the dividend. So notice how I wrote x right above the 9x. Okay, now what I'm going to do is m, that's multiply. So I'm going to multiply the x times the binomial x plus 5. So this x that I just got when I divided x squared by x, now I'm going to distribute that or multiply that to the binomial x plus 5. So I'm multiplying by my divisor. Well, x times x gives me x squared, and then x times 5 is 5x, so I get x squared plus 5x. So that's what I get when I multiply x times the binomial x plus 5. So that was m. Now I'm at s, subtract. So I have this binomial x squared plus 5x. I need to subtract that from the binomial x squared plus 9x, which is written right above it. When we subtract polynomials, it's often easier to change the addition sign to subtraction. Change the subtraction sign to addition, and then change the signs inside the parentheses. So it says change the signs and then add. So I'm subtracting the binomial x squared plus 5x. Well, that's the same as adding negative x squared plus negative 5x. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my like terms straight down. So if I look at the x squared plus negative x squared, those are going to cancel each other out. So now I'm going to move on to the 9x plus the negative 5x, which gives me positive 4x. So that was my subtraction. Now I'm at B for burgers, but that stands for bring down. So now, just like a long division problem, if I was just dividing regular numbers, I would bring down the next number. So I'm going to bring down the plus 20. Now my loop or my cycle just occurs all over again. So I start my does McDonald's sell burgers all over again. But this time I'm dividing 4x by x. So this 4x that I got when I subtracted 9x minus 5x, that 4x is getting divided by the x in the divisor. Well, 4x divided by x gives me 4. So that constant 4 gets written above the plus 20 when I go and write it as part of my quotient. So I'm writing it above its like term. I'm writing it above the 20 in the dividend. Okay, now I'm going to continue. So I'm at step M, multiply. So I'm multiplying 4 times the binomial x plus 5. So it's just the distributive property. So that becomes 4x plus 20, and now I'm going to subtract again. But again, it's often easier to change the subtraction sign to addition and then to add the opposites of those terms. So 4x plus negative 4x, those will cancel out. But this time 20 plus negative 20 also gets me to 0. And since there's no more terms in my dividend, the trinomial, I brought everything down, I'm done. Yay! And also, since my remainder is 0, I know that my divisor goes into my dividend evenly because there was nothing left over. So I'm done. I have my answer. So my answer is the quotient x plus 4, or the binomial x plus 4. So this tells me the quotient to my division problem is x plus 4. But we don't want to stop there. It's important that we do our check. Okay, so if I want to make sure that I performed this correctly, I'm going to take the quotient I arrived at, which was x plus 4, and then I'm going to multiply that by my divisor, which was the x plus 5. If I multiply those two binomials and I arrive at my original dividend, then I know I did my problem correctly. So to multiply these binomials, I'm going to do FOIL. So I'm going to get x squared plus 5x plus 4x plus 20. And then I combine like terms in the middle and look at x squared plus 9x plus 20. So it does check out and it does match my original dividend. So I am confident that I performed this long division correctly.